Hey, Peeps Galucia here, and today we're going to be playing some more Minecraft FTB Expert Mode. I learned a lot. I took a few days break from recording, just focusing on live streaming instead, and I was playing a little bit on my FTB server, which at the time of recording this has not been switched over to Expert Mode, although we did decide that the server was going to be made Expert Mode, and by the time this airs, I'm sure it is, but at the time of recording, it wasn't, but we were looking around at a few different things, and I learned a little bit about the Rock Crusher, which I'm going to illustrate now. So, the one thing I noticed is that the Rock Crusher, since it's a multi-block thing, it doesn't give you, and it's Railcraft, it doesn't give you stats like some things do in the actual inventory, but it actually requires RF to power it. Not a lot of RF, though, but a little bit of RF, because I actually built one in the server just to see how it runs so I would know for this. So, besides the fact that the mats are ridiculous, because I need a block of steel and diamonds and so on and so forth, it also requires RF, and of course, we already built a generator, which God only knows where I put it at this point. I really need to sort out my inventory. Generator. But generators build EU, which means I'm going to have to make it so that it either produces... I'm either going to have to make something that produces RF, or I'm going to have to make something that can connect EU to RF to convert it. So that's the name of the game, number one. And number two, I need a blast furnace to even make the damn Rock Crusher, because it requires steel. Unless I was lucky enough to find enough steel. Because you can find steel in villages, and if you found enough to make a block of steel, then I'd be good, except for the fact that I still needed, get diamonds and all that stuff. Now, here's a bunch of loot that includes 3 steel ingots, so I did find some steel, but yeah, I got a lot of loot. I tore up a water tank, for example, with the sprinklers and all that stuff, because I was thinking about building a farm of my own eventually. But yeah, I did get a lot of stuff. You can see all the golden stuff that's in my inventory right now. I already smelted one gold chest plate that I found earlier that I just brought back with me as well. I gotta save these nuggets and those things. As well as 2 cauldrons. So let's take a look at the smelt real quick. So you can see I have 40 ingots of molten iron right now, which is pretty ridiculous. And the gold is up to 8. It's about to get a lot more. But I don't want to fill it up too much. So I think, I don't know. Because I don't really need a lot of gold right now. So I will throw the weapons in, because they're completely worthless. At least the armor you could technically wear. Technically, you can wear the armor. I mean, golden armor is not the best, but you can wear it, and it's actually functional. Whereas that other stuff is obviously not functional. But you'll also notice a little bit of white going on in there, and that is glue. So, unfortunately, the only way to get glue is with a horse. So, I was lucky enough to find several safari nets, because I actually got several different... So, I set out on a journey, and there's a village down here, and there's an ice village over here, and then I backtracked, and then I ended up going up and over, and that's where I found the horses. I marked it. I was like, yay, finally horses, because I've been... And they're not even that far away. It just, I went in the wrong direction, and I couldn't find any horses. But yeah, so I got a few safari nets in my journey, so that makes it a lot easier to wrangle them up. So I've got a few horses in here, and the interesting thing is, in the safari net, it actually tells you how much health the horse has. So these ones have 18 health. Those ones had 23. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. They have more health, and it's cool because the safari net told me that. So I put those ones in here to save for later / breed. And then the ones that had 18 health, I figured I'll just go ahead and throw them into there. So, unfortunately, this is the only way to get glue. You have to... Get in there. Ow! Get in there. Get in there. Get in there. Yeah, unfortunately, the only way to get glue is to... throw horses in the smeltery, which, is terrible. Can I get those? No. There's stuff in there, but I can't get it. So, what are we up to now? 1,296 glue. Not bad. Because I need glue balls for the other stuff. So, this is the rock crusher, and as I said, to get steel, we're going to need a blast furnace, which I've never built a blast furnace before. We have one on the server. Again, I'm talking about the first map, since that's what was going on at the time of recording this. But I've never built one myself. Now, the mats for the blast furnace are interesting, because they've completely changed it in expert mode, but arguably they've made it easier. So, the ball of glue, yeah, that takes a little bit of doing, I guess, but otherwise it's just sand and bricks. The normal ingredient is nether bricks, soul sand, with a magma ball, or whatever, that those, like, magma slimes drop. So you have to go to the nether to build blast furnace. So arguably they've made it easier to make a blast furnace in expert mode, which I find interesting. You know, it's all about balancing. It's not necessarily all about just making everything dramatically harder. So in this situation, they've actually made it so that it is easier to build a blast furnace. There must be a reason that they don't want you to have to go to the nether just to build a blast furnace. And I'm not sure what that's about. And then the other thing is, it's a 3x4x3. I think that's 3x3 and 4 tall. I think. But you can see that it's a very large structure, so it's going to require a lot of this stuff. I'm not sure how many balls of glue I'm going to need. I guess I can make some leads to, like, bring more horses in there. I need to leave at least 2, though, because there were some more horses out there. That's why I marked it, but I don't have any more safari nets. That would mean I would have to make safari nets. So, while we cook the brick that we're going to need, and let's check on our sand situation. Sand. I don't have any sand? Wow. Okay, so we're going to go out to get sand today. But the glue part of it is the other thing I wanted to check out. So, glue... Okay, it only takes 144 milli buckets. But what am I pouring it into is the question. It says casting table. Okay, so that's that. Not, you know, the basin. But is there like a shape for that? You know, like a thing? Okay, well, according to the wiki, I just pour the glue straight onto the casting table. So let's go ahead and try it just to see what happens. And yeah, because I need a fair amount of glue as well. Oh, look at that. Yep, that made a ball of glue, all right. All right, well... there's no sense in leaving the glue in there. All it's doing is taking up space. So let me see if I can just get all the glue out. Let me see if it'll let me do that. Well, that's good that I don't need like a thing for it. It just dries up like a ball of glue. Okay, so a 4x3x3 is no small feat. We're definitely going to need a fair amount of stuffs here. Not exactly sure how much, though, and I don't necessarily want to waste product, but seeing as how I need 4 bricks, like, that's going to limit us to... Well, each one makes 4, though. Right? Uh-oh. How did I screw that up? I always invert recipes like that, where it's like 4 of one thing and 4 of another. I always invert those recipes. Okay, so, yeah, a 3x4x4, and I think it's 4 tall, so that's 9... And then I guess the center is hollow. Yeah, it says it's hollow. So the 9. And then it would be 8 and 8. Right? I'm doing the math in layers in my head here. So it'd be 9. And then the next layer would be 8. The next layer would be 8. And then the final layer would be 9. So that's a total of 34 of these that I need. Alright, so that's 24. So I need 10 more. So we have just enough with the balls of glue. And then hopefully we get enough with the bricks. The bricks seem to be the main thing that are actually the problem right now. Now, I did pick up another stack of clay while I was out there too, though. But I'm not ready to burn that up until I know for sure that I need it. Okay, so this should do it, so long as I made it correctly. Oh, does not look like I made it correctly, because if I had, it would have... a window would have appeared. Okay, so it's not 4 tall, which means I'm going to have to look it up, because I have no idea then. If it's a 3x4 I never know what they mean. Like, is 3 high, 4 wide? Like, I never know. I never know. Uh-oh. I think I did make it right. The window's at the bottom. Oh, no. I thought it was going to be like this. You know what I mean? The window's at the bottom. I actually made it correctly, and the window... Because I just looked it up on the Wikipedia page, and it, like, showed me the layers, and I was like, that's how I built it. And then I looked at a picture of it, and I was like, ah, crap. All right, so the question becomes, do I dig this up to make it not underground? And the answer is, of course, yes, because that's just silly. So there you go. So don't put your blast furnace 1 layer underground. I do that for some structures because in my head it makes sense. Especially because this one was 4 tall, but obviously that's not okay. Okay, don't forget to fill that. So now that's the bottom, so fill in our hole. Let's get some dirt. Okay, please, for the love of God, don't drop inside. You son of a bitch. What did I just say? I don't feel like placing dirt inside my blast furnace, so let's do that. Okay, so we made a blast furnace. Very exciting. So now, I believe... all we have to do is... let's grab some coal coke. I really need to get some of this oil out of here, man. We are loaded. Right, so I believe we just use coal coke. We can use coal coke to light it up. And then we just need to burn up some iron ingots? Or are we using iron? I don't know. Let's see. I still have the wiki page up, so... okay, yeah, so it is iron ingots. And holy shit... apparently, it will consume it'll take 2 minutes and 8 seconds, and it's going to consume 2 pieces of coal coke to make 1 steel ingot from 1 iron ingot. That is crazeballs. That is crazeballs. Okay, so I've already got 3 steel ingots. I need 9 to make a block of it, obviously. So I need 6 more. I've got 4, so I got to come up with 2 more iron ingots just right off the bat. Let's just start by saying that. And that's going to take a really long time. Now, one thing I haven't done yet... let me check my chest. Nope. Okay. One thing I haven't done yet is I haven't made a ingot mold thing. And I know that that's a thing that I can do. There it is. So, let me... do I have any blank... no. Aha! Okay, that makes sense, actually. Let's not... build that. I'll just save this stencil for later. Let me put it in here so this is like my other place for stencils and stuff. So I need to put a brick on it. That makes sense. So we take a brick here. Bink. Ah, it looks so silly when it's placed in there. Okay, and then gold, which thankfully we have a plenty. Actually, before I go smelting gold, do I have any of that other stuff still? Yeah, aluminum brass. I think it said 2 ingots. I only have 8 nuggets, or 6 nuggets, rather. Okay, that's not enough. So we're doing gold. Click. Nice. All right, there we go. Ingots. So now, when I smelt stuff down that I find randomly, especially like the cauldrons and stuff like that, and that's why I have so much damn molten iron. Now I can make ingots out of it in case I need a recipe for ingots, and I haven't, gone to do that yet. Once I get the rock crusher, though, we'll be a lot better off as far as ingots goes. So the one thing I learned about the rock crusher is that when it crushes stuff, it actually crushes stuff into crushed stuff, which makes sense. But there's pulverize, which makes stuff into dust, and then the macerator, which crushes stuff. So it'll be like crushed iron ore. So it'll turn 1 piece of iron ore into 2 crushed iron ore, and then that gets smelted into ingots, as you probably are well already aware of. So that's, how the macerator works, and the rock crusher works the same way. It makes the crushed stuff, which makes sense because it's literally called a rock crusher. But so that's what that does. So it essentially works just like a Mace Raider minus, the power source and the fact that it's a large structure that you can't just conveniently place in your house. It's also very loud. But yeah, so that's basically the deal with the Rock Crusher. So for a time being, we can use that instead of a Mace Raider. We need the Rock Crusher to build a Mace Raider, but we can also use it instead of the Rock Crusher. So, we don't have to rush necessarily to make the Mace Raider because the Rock Crusher will do the same job. So I'm thinking that the next thing I'm going to do, once I get my generator placed, I convert the energy to power the Rock Crusher. The next thing I'm going to want to do after that is make some of the other things for industrial craft that'll be helpful. Starting with ovens, the electric ovens, and the extractor. So I like revealing these recipes for the most part on the live stream, so I'm like shocked at what it costs or something like that. Okay, so the electric furnace, the recipe is the same. It just means it's a little bit more difficult to make because of, the changes to the mats, but otherwise the recipe itself is the same. And the extractor, also the same, but again, the mats are just more difficult because of what it takes to build it. And this one requires a basic machine casing, which means we do need the assembly table, which is a build craft thing, and requires a fair amount of power, by the way. So, another reason to have RF, I'm tempted to just leave the EU generator in the house and build an RF power supply. Why won't these stack? Because those three I found in a village, and they're immersive engineering. That's hilarious. Hopefully it lets me combine them. I imagine it will, but still. But yeah, so hopefully I can get some RF power going anyway, and then that will be used for the outdoor stuff, because I'm going to have that hooked up to the Rock Crusher, and I'm going to have to hook that up to at least an assembly table to power that as well. So yeah, we're getting into a lot of different things now. But let's take a step back here and look at this, huh? I've got 3 multi-block structures now. Very exciting. And we're going to have a 4th one right here. I need to chop down this mushroom. The mushroom's actually technically not in the way. But we're going to have another one lined up right next to that one next episode, because I am going to be ready to build this thing quite soon. I think basically the pistons aren't too bad. I should be able to make a piston. So I think right now the biggest thing that's holding me back... Oh, look at that. So nice. The biggest thing that's holding me back right now for the Rock Crusher is... Let's see here. Bink. Okay, so for the Rock Crusher, yeah, I need diamonds, number 1. And number 2, the structure is 3x2x2, so it's 3 across when you're looking at it, right? And it's a solid structure. So that's 12 total, which means I'm going to need 3 blocks of steel, as well as 12 diamonds and 12 pistons. That's a goddamn lot. And I just got 1 block of steel. I need 18 more steel ingots, which I can technically do with the blast furnace, right? I've got enough iron. So I can technically do that, but that's also going to cost a lot of coal coke. That's 36 coal coke. That's a lot of coal coke, guys. So it's going to take me a little while. I'm going to do that off camera. No reason for you to stand here watching me mess around with coal coke. But, so I'll get to work on the steel, and while that's cooking, I'm going to have to get down into the mines and start looking for diamonds, because, man, I'm going to need a lot of diamonds to get this thing done. I haven't found any diamonds yet, and I need 12. That 12 is a much larger number than 0, because that's what I have, and I need 12. That's brutal. That is absolutely brutal. So I'm going to sort all this out. Maybe I can clean out my inventory a little bit, too, while I'm at it. And on the next episode, hopefully by then, I'll have everything I need. We'll set up the Rock Crusher. We'll build a RF-type power source to get that thing powered up, and we'll be well underway. But it's a good episode today. I like that every episode we tend to at least get one more multi-block structure going on. Fancy pants. I feel fancy pants. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate the viewing support as always, and I will see each and every one of you on the next episode.